There was a marsh where the water never cooled. Even at night, the reeds glowed faintly, and the air shimmered as if lit from far beneath the earth. They called it Ember Marsh. And deep inside it, hidden beneath lily leaves and glowing mud, lived a young crocodile named Kiro. He wasn't like the others. While most crocodiles were deep green and gray, Kiro's scales shimmered copper and red, like embers after a fire. He didn't snap or thrash. He was quiet, thoughtful, and warm, not just in color, but in how he moved. The elders whispered that his color meant trouble, that fire did not belong in water, that he was a mistake of nature. So Kiro kept to himself. He wandered the edges of the marsh, listening to frogs talk in their sleep and watching stars reflect in the water. He dreamed often and quietly of distant lands, deep lights, and voices beneath the roots of the world. One evening, while the sky was the color of old honey, Kiro felt it. The marsh had gone still. Too still. No frogs. No crickets. No rustling in the reeds. And the glow beneath the water was fading. He crept to the edge of the ember pool, a circle of water that never stopped glowing. Tonight, it was dark. In the center, a single stone, long hidden, now exposed. Something had awakened. Or something had gone missing. Kiro stepped closer. The stone pulsed faintly under his feet, warm, like breath. And from its center, a faint voice rose. "You are not wrong, Kiro. You are the keeper of the last ember." Kiro stared at the stone. It pulsed again, soft and warm, like a heart remembering how to beat. The surface was smooth but cracked, glowing from within, as if something inside was waking up slowly after a long, long sleep. He placed one claw gently on the stone. Nothing happened. Then, a wind rose. Not from the sky, but from beneath the water. The reeds bent. The fireflies scattered. And from the center of the pool, a whisper. "The light below the water is fading. But it can be fed. Only the ember-hearted may walk into the deep." Kiro blinked. The voice wasn't outside him, it was inside. Beneath his claw, the cracks in the stone widened, and a circle of warm light opened beneath him. The water didn't ripple. It parted. There, beneath the glowing pool, was a staircase, spiraling downward into golden fog. Kiro looked back once toward the marsh. No one was watching. He took a deep breath. His ember scales shimmered in answer. And then, step by step, Kiro descended into the place where light had once been born. The stairs curved downward for what felt like forever. Kiro walked carefully, his emberlit scales casting soft reflections on the glowing stone steps. The mist around him was warm and golden, like light remembered from long ago. There was no sound. No wind. No water. Only the soft tap of his claws on the stairs. Then, a hum. Faint at first, like the low sound of fire when it thinks no one is listening. It grew stronger with each step. And when Kiro reached the bottom, the stairs ended at a vast, underground chamber glowing from within. It wasn't made of stone, but of roots, twisting and thick, like the bones of an ancient tree or an ancient world. In the center of it all, floating above a ring of still water, was a flame. But not an ordinary one. It pulsed slowly, like it was breathing. Its color was strange, shifting between red, orange, gold, and something like memory. Kiro stepped forward. The flame turned toward him. "Ember blood," it said, without sound. "You carry what was lost. But even fire forgets." It flickered gently, and from it, shapes began to form, visions. A giant crocodile with burning golden eyes. A flood swallowing the marsh. A tree that once held light in every leaf. And a falling star that looked a lot like Kiro himself. He didn't understand all of it. Not yet. But deep inside, the flame lit something older than fear. A memory. And a choice. Kiro stood in silence long after the visions faded. The flame dimmed, its glow settling into a steady, gentle flicker, as if resting. All around him, the roots of the ancient chamber began to shift, slowly, softly, creaking like old trees stretching after a deep sleep. From the still pool surrounding the flame, ripples spread outward, not from movement, but from memory. Kiro looked down and saw his reflection ripple. But it wasn't alone. Dozens of other crocodile shapes shimmered there, echoing through the water, some ancient, some unfamiliar, all glowing faintly with emberlight. They didn't speak. But he felt them. "You are not the first. But you are the one who remained." The flame pulsed once more. A single ember drifted outward, settling gently onto Kiro's chest. It didn't burn. It belonged. Suddenly, the chamber of roots responded. From the walls, thin lines of light traced ancient symbols, forgotten words of the marsh itself. They wrapped around the chamber like quiet song, and began guiding Kiro to a hidden path, a doorway woven of reeds and gold, now opening. The marsh had awakened. And it remembered him. Without hesitation, Kiro stepped through the glowing reeds, into the next layer of the dream beneath the water. The doorway led into darkness. But it was not cold. It was warm, like the inside of a story waiting to be told. Kiro stepped slowly, his ember scales casting a soft glow along the narrow path. The roots above gave way to walls of smooth black stone veined with gold. Faint symbols pulsed and faded with each of his steps, as if the corridor remembered his presence. The tunnel opened into a dome-shaped chamber. At its heart stood a great structure of obsidian, a forge, though no fire burned in it. Kiro approached carefully. The air shimmered with still heat. Hanging above the forge was a broken mask, shaped like a crocodile's face, carved from ancient gold and marked with ember's tone. The moment his eyes met it, the mask whispered, "You come with heart unbroken. But to carry the flame, it must be shaped." The ground beneath him pulsed. From the edges of the chamber, echoes stirred, ancient spirits of the marsh in flickering form, crocodiles made of smoke and light, circling slowly, watching him. And then the mask dropped, hovering just in front of him, waiting. Kiro didn't flinch. He closed his eyes and stepped into it. The moment Kiro stepped into the mask's light, everything went still. The forge glowed without flame. The spirits encircling him paused, as if holding their breath. The golden mask lowered slowly onto Kiro's face. But it didn't cover him. It became part of him. A rush of warmth surged through his body, not painful, but ancient. He saw visions again, not of the past, but of possibility. The marsh restored, the flames returned, and creatures of all kinds gathering at the water's edge to listen and remember. The forge blazed to life behind him. With no fuel, no spark, only memory and purpose. From its heart rose a crown, not made of metal, but of light and living ember. It hovered above Kiro, then gently lowered onto his head. The flames did not burn. They pulsed with breath, his breath. Around him, the chamber shook slightly. The spirits bowed. The crown shimmered. The fire forgets, the voices whispered once more. But the ember remembers. Kiro opened his eyes. Not brighter, but clearer. He turned toward the lighted path that had appeared behind the forge, and began to walk, now not just a traveler, but a bearer. As Kiro emerged from the forge, the world above had changed. The once muted reeds of the marsh now shimmered with warm emberlight. Trees that had stood silent for years pulsed faintly with life. Even the air shimmered with a soft heat, like the breath of something waking after a long, long slumber. Kiro stepped onto the surface, and every ripple of water that touched his claws lit faintly gold. From the sky, clouds of mist peeled back, revealing stars, brighter than ever before. And at the heart of the marsh, where the flame had once died, stood a tree now ablaze with living fire. Not burning, but glowing, leaves flickering with warmth and memory. Animals gathered. Birds perched quietly. Turtles, foxes, owls, all drawn to the light, not with fear, but reverence. Kiro stood before the tree, his ember crown pulsing in rhythm with its glow. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. The marsh had found its flame again. And it knew his name. But it was not the cold, silent kind that had once gripped the marsh. This night was warm. Breathing. Listening. Kiro sat beneath the emberlit tree, its glowing leaves whispering softly above him. Around him, the animals had curled close, not in fear, but in peace. The flames had brought no destruction. Only memory. Only light. The golden mask had dissolved, but the ember crown still shimmered faintly atop his head, like a thought held in silence. He looked into the still water and saw not just himself, but all the faces that had come before him, and all those yet to come. A single glowing ember drifted from the tree's highest branch. It floated downward, slow as sleep, and landed beside Kiro. He leaned close, breathed in, and as his eyes closed, the marsh exhaled too, soft, long, and full of stories. The last ember didn't fade. It simply rested, waiting for another dreamer.